I do want you to start thinking about how you can excel as a sales professional. You may be tempted to hang up right now or to turn this podcast off because you're thinking, well, I'm not in sales. Why do I need to listen to this? And here's the thing. We are all in sales. We all sell something. If you are a solo entrepreneur, if you are a coach, you are selling your services. If you are a small business, you are selling to customers, you're selling to other businesses, and you're selling to your employees all the time. If you're one of my network marketing direct sales consultants, obviously, you know you are in sales. Maybe you're insurance, real estate, you sell boats, cars, anything like that. Any product, maybe you have an Etsy shop, you're selling something. And even if you're a teacher or a nurse, you're selling your students or your patients on taking your advice, on doing their homework, on taking care of themselves. So in essence, we're all selling something. Welcome to the Discovering Your Calling podcast. I'm your host, Sheri Miter. I'm here to help you unleash your strengths and get clarity on your calling. I believe when you find your purpose in life, fulfillment, joy, and success will follow. If you're ready, pop in those earbuds, hit that follow button, and join me on this journey toward discovering your calling. In 2007, my husband and I bought a 19-foot sailboat. It was our testing boat to see if we even liked sailing. And my husband had grew up with a small sailboat on a small lake/pond. So he knew he liked it. So really it was about finding out, would Sheri really like sailing? And, I always loved being on the water, and I trusted that I would probably learn to like it. So we decided, for, I think it was $900 we spent on a 19-foot sailboat. We tested out. And I did like it, except for when the boat heeled. And heeling on a sailboat is when you see those boats leaned way, way over where it looks like they're about to tip over in the water. And trust me, when you're on a small sailboat, it feels like you are going to tip over into the water. And the really small ones are meant to do that. This one was not meant to do that. And my husband kept telling me that, don't worry, we're not going to tip over. It's, they're made to do this. And I didn't really trust him. And if I'm being totally honest, I really didn't trust my husband's skills. I mean, it had been a long time since he was sailing. And when he did, he was a kid on a much, much smaller sailboat. So I enjoyed it, but we also had this thing that we called the tom-tom meter. And when the boat began to heel over, I would start screaming out, Tom, 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 stop. And this became a thing even known in our marina for the tom-tom meter. But I did love it. So the next year we upgraded and got a 26-foot sailboat. And both of our skills increased and my confidence grew in my skills and in Tom's skills. And it wasn't as bad as being on the 19-foot sailboat, but I still would get nervous when the boat would heel way over, and especially if the winds were higher and the tom-tom meter would still go off. Eventually, we moved up and purchased a 31-foot sailboat, and her name was Danu. And this was in 2013. And by then, we had really spent time learning the nuances of sailing and the nuances of our own boat. And we really learned how she reacted to the wind and the conditions. We knew what her strengths and weaknesses were. And our skills had increased. My confidence was stronger. My confidence in Tom was stronger. And my own ability to sail got way better. Like I found I loved being at the helm. And honestly, the tom-tom meter rarely went off once we got the bigger boat. But here's the really ironic thing. And the point of the story of why I'm sharing this with you today is the more that I found out about sailing, the more I realized that heeling, when you're leaned way, way over, can actually decrease a sailboat's speed. You see, with each sailboat, there is a sweet spot of heeling. Now, it depends on, like when you see the big racing boats and that they're in there, they're meant to do that. But for the average cruiser, they're not meant to lean way over. We really don't want water on the rail. And we found that out with Danu, that there was a spot that if we just healed a little bit and we had the sales adjusted right, she could practically sail herself. Like we had to do very little work because the conditions were right. We knew how to balance her out. We knew how to use her strengths. And we didn't have to heal way over where it was uncomfortable and it wasn't fun. And that was an amazing feeling. That's the feeling that I love about sailing. When you're just cutting through the water, and as my husband calls it, she has a bone in her teeth with the wake behind us. It's such this great space to be in. And my friend, that's what I want for you. I want you to find the sweet spot in sales. Yes, this is all leading up to sales, and not sales as in SAIL anymore. We're now talking about sales as SALES. You know, when you have to sell something, when you have to go out and create a customer or have somebody buy your products. And when you know your boat and you trust your skills, you're still going to get outside the comfort zone to experience that sweet spot. And the same thing's true for you. When you know your skills, or you trust your skills and you know your strengths, in order to be successful and find that sweet spot for you, you do have to be willing to step outside the comfort zone. Now, we're not going to get into comfort zone trading today. I'm going to save that for another podcast. But I do want you to start thinking about how you can excel as a sales professional. And here's the thing. I'm going to skip ahead here a minute because you may be tempted to hang up right now or to turn this podcast off because you're thinking, well, I'm not in sales. Why do I need to listen to this? And here's the thing. We are all in sales. We all sell something. If you are a solo entrepreneur, if you are a coach, you are selling your services. If you are a small business, you are selling to customers, you're selling to other businesses, and you're selling to your employees all the time. If you're one of my network marketing direct sales consultants, obviously, you know you are in sales. Maybe you're insurance, real estate, you sell boats, cars, anything like that, any product. Maybe you have an Etsy shop. You're selling something. And even if you're a teacher or a nurse, you're selling your students or your patients on taking your advice, on doing their homework, on taking care of themselves. So in essence, we're all selling something. Hey, even if you're married, if you're a wife listening to this, you might sell your husband on taking you out to dinner some night. And hey, husbands, we know what you're trying to sell all the time. So we all are selling something. So basically, anyone who wants to attract, retain, or build stronger relationships with customers, or I would say with anybody, you're in sales. And the best way to get good at it is by leaning into your natural strengths. And that's where I want to take you today. Now, before I jump into our little education piece today on selling with strengths, I want to go back a minute and I want to just share a little bit more about myself. Now, some of you listening, I know you have heard my story or over and over and over again. You could probably recite it better than I could. But if you're new to the show, I want to let you know a little bit about my background and why I'm the person that you might want to listen to for this. So first of all, who am I not? Okay, I am not one of those sales gurus who's going to sit here and tell you how I made $20 million yesterday and I fly around in my private plane or my yacht. Yes, we've had sales boats. And we even just had a 42-foot sailboat. But it wasn't what I would consider a yacht. It was a 1990, very lovely boat, but not yachtish. And I'm also not going to teach you how to 10x your business this year, how to have a 6 or 7 figure income. Now, is that possible if you take the things we're going to talk about today? Maybe, could be. Some of you might do that. But that's not my story, and that's not what I teach. Now, I have had a lot of success in my past, a lot of success in sales. And I happen to be one of those weird people who loves sales. In fact, I'm going to share with you in a minute how this podcast even came to be, because a lot of it came to be because I miss sales. And I've had 26 years of experience in direct sales. Now, prior to that, my husband and I owned a chimney cleaning business, and I was responsible for selling in that as well. But in my direct sales or network marketing days, I spent 22 years of that as a leader. And I worked with my team to get up to the top, I would say 1% of the company. We reached that pinnacle of success. And yes, I was a Mary Kay. And yes, we did earn that pink Cadillac. I've also had personal sales achievements multiple times when I was in with Mary Kay. And as a team and a unit, we sold well over $1 million combined during my last 4 years as a leader. We did earn multiple free cars. And as I mentioned, that pink Cadillac was the pinnacle one. Hundreds of other prizes and bonuses. And here's the other thing. It wasn't all success. I had a lot of years that were what I call the desert valley. Years I struggled. Years I was out of balance with work-life harmony. I would tend to work 24/7, and that wasn't healthy. There were years I wanted to quit. There were years that were comeback years. Those were some of my favorite years. And I share this with you because I want you to know, no matter where you are on this journey, whether you're in sales now, whether you're thinking about stepping into entrepreneurship, and it's the sales piece that's making you feel icky and stuck. I hear that a lot. Or maybe you've been in sales for a long time and you're just feeling kind of bored or rusty about it. I know what it feels like. I've been there. Now today, as you probably know, but maybe not, I am a Gallup certified strengths coach, and I primarily work with entrepreneurs and small business owners, sales teams, and mostly women in career transitions is my sweet spot today. But as I already shared, I love sales. I really do. And this morning, I was thinking about it because it's June 21st, the day I'm recording this. And June, in the Mary Kay world, and I know other companies run the same schedule, our year was July 1st to June 30th. So June was that month that you just flat out put it all on the line. You were running towards big goals that you had, or if you were way off from your big goal, you were getting set up to get for the next year. So it was always an exciting month. Now, it could be stressful at the same time, and I don't miss the stress of it, but I miss that exciting energy that we had. I miss striving for goals. I miss that season of, you're working hard, but you're also praying really hard that the miracles happen. I miss celebrating with my girlfriends. And I also miss those times that, sometimes I needed to be boosted back up again or being the one to boost my friends up again. I miss all of that. And if you are one of my Mary Kay friends listening to this, I'm cheering you on. Just know that I'm sitting here cheering you on. But I digress. So anyway, it made me pull back out my CliftonStrengths selling with strengths or CliftonStrengths for sales report. And I looked at it and I realized as I was thumbing through it why I miss selling so much. Now I am still in sales, but I'm not as much into it as I was. And this is what I found as I looked at my CliftonStrengths for sales report. I looked at my activator, which is number 7 for me in my top 10. And this was one of the things that said in the report under activator, that you're driven by metrics and want to act immediately to achieve goals. You always have a number in mind, your revenue target, the build-outs you'll aim for this quarter, etc. These numbers don't discourage you like they might other salespeople. You're at your best when you can transition from thinking about your goal to achieving it. Your metrics inspire progress and are vital to your success. And I paused for a moment when I read that. I thought, ooh, this is why I don't feel like I'm at my best right now today. I don't have a number I'm shooting for. I don't have a quota. I don't have a metric. I don't have something I'm working towards high like that, like I used to. Then I looked at focus. Focus is my number 10 theme. It's actually the first executing theme I have. So even take note on that, because sometimes we get mixed up with our talent themes and how much they mean and don't mean. And I obviously achieved a lot of things. I got a lot of things done, but executing is number 10 for me. It doesn't show up until number 10. But that's, again, a whole nother podcast. So under the focus theme, this was something that I read, and it said, your quota energizes you and you won't quit until you've reached it. With incredible concentration and persistence, you achieve and sometimes surpass your sales goal, no matter what obstacles you face along the way. Let me share, as I already said, there were many years I did not hit my sales goal, but there were some I surpassed it. But the bottom line is the quota energized me, and I feel alive and energized when I'm working towards achieving them. And I realize that today, that because I don't have them set by a company anymore, because I work for myself, I'm missing that piece for me. And it made me really sit and think about that how I need to, as a solopreneur, need to change things. And I need to have quotas for myself. I need to hold myself accountable. I need to have somebody hold me accountable. And I need to do that for myself. But I also realize how much I just miss playing and working in that sales arena. And it occurred to me that I don't have to necessarily be the one achieving the sales goal, but what would also excite me is helping somebody else achieve a sales goal or working with a sales team and helping them figure out what is their unique sales edge. And I'm going to spend the rest of this time today really talking about that, because I want to give you some tips. If you're listening to this now and you're like, oh, yes, sign me up, Sheri, I need your help. Or maybe you're like, you don't need my help, but you just want to learn some more. You're intrigued. And I want to talk to you about why this CliftonStrengths for Sales report, I think, is so exciting and so vital and so needed for anybody that is in sales. So again, who needs this? As I already shared, if you're a solo entrepreneur, if you're a coach, if you run a small business, if you're in network marketing, if you have an Etsy shop, obviously, if you're selling boats, cars, trains, houses, you need it. But anyone who wants to attract, retain, and build stronger relationships with customers, and I add with other people, you need this report. Also, this is essential if you lead a team of sales professionals. Now, I want to pause for a minute, and I want to ask you a question. And I know it's a podcast, but try to answer this in your head for me. And I have a feeling some of the things you'll think about. Why do you think, if you are in a company that does sales training, or maybe you've experienced sales training, why do you think your company's sales training might actually be hindering your success? So why might your company's sales training be hindering your success? Or why is it just not working for you? And maybe it's not your company. Maybe you're an entrepreneur, but you follow people online. Maybe you've bought the course about sales. Why is it not working for you? And here's some of the things that you might be thinking. One, it doesn't exist. There isn't one. Or you're thinking, I don't have a sales training. I'm out here all by lonesome. There's nobody training me. So it's not existing. You might also be thinking it's outdated. Like what worked back then doesn't work today. Ooh, that is so truth. So much truth in that. The other reason it may not be working is it's written from one person's perspective. The person who wrote the sales manual, the person who's doing that training you paid for, that course you paid for, it's how they became successful. So they're sharing it from their perspective and what worked for them, not what works for everyone. And the other thing is it probably doesn't take into account the individual talents of each salesperson on the team. Again, it's one person's perspective. And that's where this tool, like the new CliftonStrengths for Sales report, comes in, and how it can help you discover your edge over your competitors. And just like we discovered on Danu, our 31-foot sailboat, that sweet spot, that spot where the sails were adjusted right, where we had just the right angle of heeling. And yes, we were pushed a little bit out of our comfort zone. That's your sales edge. But your sales edge comes from looking at your strengths, your top 10 Clifton strengths. And there is a specific report now. So you may have taken the assessment And you have your top 5 report or your CliftonStrengths 34 report. But did you know that there are actually 3 specialty reports that you can download? You have to pay for them. You don't have to take the assessment all over again. But there's one for managers, there's one for leaders, and there's one for sales. And we're talking about the one for sales today. And here's how it can help you get that edge over your competitors. It's going to help you know what your top 10 themes are and what they look like specifically for sales. It's going to tell you how each theme contributes to your success. It will tell you how that theme might get in the way of your success. That's really valuable to know. And it will actually give you 4 tangible ways to apply each specific theme of your top 10 as a salesperson. So basically, you're going to leave with 40 tips that you could use to become a better salesperson. Now, I don't expect or recommend you try to change 40 things all at once, but for each theme, your top 10 themes, think about this, your top 10 themes, each one is going to get 4 tangible ways to apply that theme as a salesperson. That's like gold. And this report also gives you questions at the end of each theme analysis to reflect on so that you can create your plan, your own plan of action. So a customized plan of action. So again, your CliftonStrengths for Sales report is going to look at your top 10 themes. It's going to tell you how they each contribute to your success as a salesperson. It will break down and tell you how that theme might get in the way of your success or might be getting in the way of your success. It will give you 4 tangible ways to apply that theme as a salesperson to achieve that success, and questions so that you can create your own plan of action. This is a difference maker to find your sales edge. So what happens when you take the time to get this assessment and look at it and study it, and maybe you need some coaching around it? One of my favorite things to do is coach salespeople on this. Here's what will happen afterwards. You will boost your confidence like 10 times. That I will promise you. It'll be like a 10 times boost of confidence for you because you're going to know how what your talents do, how they shine. And you're going to realize that you can do this in your own unique way. It's going to show you how to work on your skills in a way that complements your strengths, not hinders them. Just like I had to work on my skills as a sailor to work, to sail the boat, and then I had to trust the boat, you're going to need to know how to work on your skills so that they work with and not compete against your natural strengths. Because confidence plus skills plus strengths equals your edge. I want to repeat that. Confidence plus skills plus strengths equals your edge. Remember, your edge is that thing that's going to set you apart from everybody else. It's what's going to help you achieve your goals. It's what's going to help you feel energized about your goals. You're also going to get ideas to boost your results and create your own sales process and plan so that you don't need to rely on another course, another company, the company's sales plans, trying to do something the way somebody else has told you to do it. That doesn't work. That was one of the mistakes I used to make in direct sales. We would go to our seminars and our workshops, and you would hear how the number one person in the company achieved that level. And then we would try to go home and do exactly what they did. And it never worked because they were working in their own strengths. And we're 1 in 33 million. So our strengths aren't their strengths. So you've got to figure out how to use your own strengths to find success. And I've already mentioned this. You will feel energized with this customized plan. And you're going to be working in a way that feels authentic to you. No more icky sales techniques. Hallelujah for that. Now, if you lead a team and you're listening to this, then we definitely need to talk, because imagine not just knowing your own strengths as a sales professional, but then knowing the strengths of your sales team and how to support them best. That's so powerful. This is also going to make your business recession proof because today more than ever, we don't know what the state of the economy is going to look like a year from now. I mean, everything's so up in the air, but when you know your sales at your sweet spot, you know your sales edge, you know how you work best, even when challenges come, you will stand out from the crowd and you will find a way to connect with your clients and see so that they see the value of what you offer in a way that nobody else is showing them. And yes, you may have to work a little harder and see a few more people, depending on what happens with the economy, but you're never going to feel icky about it. And when you're working from this place of your strengths, you won't feel like you have to work 24/7 to find success. You will be able to look and work from a place of service. So in a place where you believe in your heart and soul, what you offer is worth that client's investment and how it's changing their lives. So it's just going to elevate how you work to the next level. Now, if you're like, Sheri, I need more, I want more, I am going to be running a Selling with Strengths workshop at some point this summer. It will probably be the end of July, beginning of August. But if you don't want to wait until then to find out what your sales edge is and to get this report I'm talking about, you could head over to Gallup today. And doesn't matter if you've already taken strengths or not, it's $49.99. Now, if you've already taken the strengths, you don't have to do the assessment all over again. It'll just automatically just download this new report for you in your Gallup folder. Now, if you're brand new and you've never taken anything from Gallup from CliftonStrengths, it's still $49.99. And they do throw in the new top 5 report as well. So you'll get your top 5 customized report and then the CliftonStrengths for Sales report that has your top 10 in it. So it's really valuable. And you can figure it all out. Download your reports, read them, spend time working on them. But if you want somebody to partner with you and to help speed this process along, and I promise you, I won't heal the boat too much, so there's no tom-tom effect, but it'll be a little bit more thrilling ride. And you might just be pushed a little bit more to your edge, which lies just outside your comfort zone. But that's also, remember, where the sweet spot is. The sweet spot to success is. So if you're looking for somebody to kind of come alongside and support you and help you really dive into this report and figure out what it all means and how to use it, maybe how to work with your team, I would love to be that partner for you. And it might be in that 90-minute Start with Strengths session. We could turn that into a Selling with Strengths session, or it might be a little bit more in depth. So just, find me on Facebook. I hang out there way too much. You can hit me in the DMs or send me an email at Sheri@SheriMiterCo.com. And Sheri's simple and easy, SHERI, 1R1I, and then SheriMiterCo.com. You can head to my website and send me a message that way as well. And all those links are in the show notes. So again, I miss being in that sales arena. I miss having those goals. And nothing would make me happier than to champion with you to help you reach your sales goals. Okay. That was a lot. And I hope you found this valuable. Let me know. Send me a message and just let me know, was it valuable or not? Now, next week, coming up on the podcast, just so if you're a planner ahead, we're going to take a break from the Summer of Strengths. And we're going to keep the sailing journey going, sailing like on a boat sailing now, and get into some mindset stuff. Because I posted a question a couple days ago on Facebook, and it just made me realize how many people are just fearful to take that first step, to really make that change, whether it's stepping into a new sales position, whether it is hitting a big goal, whether it is creating your calling. So I'm going to talk about some mind stuff and really talk about what I call them the danger buoys, the sharks and the anchors, the things that are really keeping you stuck. And some of them might surprise you and how to break through those barriers. So we'll do that next week. But thank you, my friends, as always, for listening to the Discovering Your Calling podcast. And I look forward to hearing from you. Let me know if I can support you in any sales goals and or grabbing that Clifton Strengths for Sales report. Thank you for spending this time with me. My hope is something you heard today inspires you to take action toward discovering your calling. I just have 2 favors to ask of you before you go. 1, if you found value and enjoyed this episode, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and you might hear your review read on a future episode. And 2, can you share this episode with 3 friends who will also enjoy it as much as you did? By doing these things, you will help us grow the podcast to make a bigger impact on the world. And until next week, remember, you've been created to live a life of fulfillment, freedom, purpose, success, and joy.